ID. It's me 5 at the door. All right. All right, you good. You go inside. Hey, good morning, everyone. I have the distinct pleasure of, and just a little heads up. We've tried to do this multiple times. This is finally happening.
Playing a little,
uh,
little, little back and forth in footsie for a little bit.
the footsie has been so real. Everyone, welcome Dean from Splitjaw.
Hello, hello.
Hey, okay. So first things first. How's your morning going?
It's very it's very young. I'm not usually up this early, but it's my day off and I slept, so it's like it's fine. But yeah, just gonna
Okay.
get to just kind of hang out a little bit. I was gonna do some overtime, but I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Well, let's start this actually in a little bit in reverse. Normally, towards the end of a podcast, I like asking people what they do for a living. But considering that we're talking about job, what do you do for a living?
Sure. So Maud and I work at the same company. Because I
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
because I obviously of course I listened to the interview you two did, but we work at the same company. I was there first though, so haha. Um,
Okay, yeah. Fuck you,
yeah,
Mod.
exactly. So I was here first, but we were on the same team, but we moved. It's like Maud does like a lot of like the paperwork stuff, and if Maud is like step one of six in the process, where I'm at now is like step 15. We're like way at the
Oh,
very
that's
end. Because
crazy.
it's like
You
I
see-
went from like the very beginning to like now I'm in charge of like so for people that I should probably give context. So I work at like a cancer research company. Um, and basically my role is I just help move samples around the lab and then we like store the samples too. So just sample movement, sample storage. It's pretty, it's cool. Get to move around the building
that's
a lot.
cool. I feel like I don't talk. Actually, you and Maud are the only two people that I've talked to that work in kind of a medical industry. And I'm not even sure if I want to even call it medical. It's more just like this. I mean, you do have to kind of deal with hazardous materials in a
Right.
way. So has that been when you're talking to people about that job that you have? In comparison to all the other musicians around you, does it feel like there could be like an odd man out kind of situation where you're like, oh, I do this kind of really weird thing in comparison to like the people that, work either in an office or like doing customer support or like working
Right.
at a bar?
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't really thought about that kind of in that way before. But I mean, you are right though. It's like obviously it's like either corporate or like service industry. I mean, I've been in healthcare for like 6 years now.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not like I don't have any fucking degrees, right? I'm a community college dropout, but I worked. I did somehow find a way to work in like a hospital out in the suburbs for a few years, and I was doing like actual like kind of like hospital-y shit. Like I was what was called a sterile processing technician. So what that is like any instruments that especially the operating room needs, like we would sterilize and like process and like assemble all the instrument trays. So it was like got to run around in scrubs and Crocs all day, saw some crazy shit, like lot of blood, a lot of other anything that could come from your body. But that was a cool last job. Unfortunately, they just didn't pay me very much.
It's cool to hear like everyone has like so many different experiences in like the employment side in their own personal lives. To know that like you've been working kind of in hospitals is not only interesting, but like there's has any of that stuff, like the things that you've seen, the work in itself, is it translate at all to like you when you're like trying to write stuff, or any of it going into the music realm? Has there been any kind of cross?
You get some cool song and band names.
I was That's okay. Okay, so tell me an idea of when something that you saw while working in a hospital. We were like, that's going to be a good band name.
There was because part of that job, like we would like we'd get like the surgery schedule for the next day or shit that would come in for later in the day, and there obviously like the operations have all these crazy fucking names. Oh my God, there was one that was like really extra hard that I it just has escaped me. But I mean, there's all sorts of other like hard sounding words, basically. Like one of my personal favorites, it's bioburden. Like you can't tell me that
BioBurden
you
is
can't tell
so
me that
good.
shouldn't be like a slam band. Like,
Absolutely. I love the anatomy stuff. Like I remember hearing the term xiphoid
oh
process.
man,
Like it's like apparently it's a little bone underneath your sternum. It's like this. It's almost like your sternum's tailbone. And I'll never forget. Like I, as someone that has owned pipes back when I was like a in my early 20s smoking weed. I'll never forget I had like this bone white one that I called the xiphoid process.
that's so good.
Because there's just something about medical stuff. They always have the coolest fucking names for everything. So bioburden is fully perfect. And that's actually funny is Splitjaw from that realm as well?
Splitjaws from Halo.
Okay, that is okay. Okay, if, contextually, let's dive the fuck into that. So, is this like a red versus blue thing, or is this like Halo 2? Or where's this from
I mean,
specifically?
just Halo in general, really. Is it's just I got the name from the elites, just because they have like
Okay.
the split. Literally, they have like split mandibles, and that's it. And
Oh, okay. Is that what they call them in the game? Like,
I
oh, like you'll hear like someone like yell about it in the
yeah, like
background.
shout it like a slur. Fucking
Yeah,
I
yeah. It's a split
right.
jaw.
Yeah, I've never actually like heard it in game. I think me and like my friends have probably said it at some point over the last, fucking 20 years or something. I've seen people online use it as a slur.
Fascinating. Okay, so this is like a name that for Halo that's like gone outside of the game. This is like how people reference it. This is like almost like post culture of the game.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's because it's never been mentioned in the game, but obviously when you get gamers and unite them against an alien race, humans tend to like to not like things that are like them.
I like the I like what happens when things go beyond the game and go into like the actual culture or just like things that the audience name. So like having the audience name these things Splitjaw has been so funny because recently the newest term that I've heard from like AI things is calling things like
Oh
clankers.
yeah, Clanker.
Uh, it's just so good. Like there's just so many. I love it when things extend into like the audience's universe and they get to name stuff themselves. Okay, so yes, clankers and Halo aside, let's talk about fucking let's talk about fucking Truth and Reconciliation. This absolutely kick-ass EP. Let's walk through it. First things first, favorite track for me, Truth and Reconciliation. The actual, name drop there. It is like Avenged Sevenfold, Between Buried and Me. There's some Converge there. There's just so much stuff happening. What was it like writing this thing? I know that y'all are like so prolific when it comes to just like writing itself. You can tell just from the technical shit that y'all are doing. So yeah, like walk me through this whole EP.
That's really well. First off, thank you. But you kind of nailed it. Yeah, like
You're so
yeah,
welcome.
no, you kind of nailed it. Like the way that, especially now that the second EP is out and like people are kind of seeing like what we really are. It's like I do describe it as like Avenged Sevenfold and like Converge thrown into a blender because it's
Mhm.
like because like I grew up like on like I grew up like a metalhead. I grew up on like thrash and like the old school heavy shit. I grew up on like a little bit of neoclassical, some prog, and then somewhere in my 20s I got really really into Converge and Terror. So that's kind of where like the hardcore and then counterparts as well. That's another big one.
Mhm.
So it's like that's kind of where like the hardcore aspect. But yeah, like I grew up just wanting to fucking shred and melt faces and be a goddamn nerd.
Mhm.
But yeah, but like for writing, because so if, like for the first EP, it was a lot of old ideas. The first song that I wrote for EP1 that was like actually front to back, like this is a song for a band called Splitjaw was Leech. So it was kind of like carrying the torch from that really, where I'm just like want it kind of be like thrashy, like more thrashy leaning. But I was like, no, let's get like a little bit nerdier because then I started getting really into bands like the Chariot and then like Calloused Cowboys are a huge band for me too.
Mhm.
So Vigilance was the first song that was written for EP2. And it was actually supposed to be an EP1, but it just didn't really work out for the time frame. But we've been playing it live this whole time. And then yeah, so the EP order is pretty much in reverse of the order that they were written in. Yeah, like Stabbing Me Gently took me like 2 months to write because of fucking like it has like
Oh no
yeah,
shit.
it has like 5 time changes and like 7 or 8 tempo changes.
I mean, yeah, it's a ridiculous
Yeah,
song.
it's that thing which to actually play it, it's not as difficult to play as you think it is. Once like we had the first couple of times we ran it, like we tripped up a little bit just because of the structure itself, but the actual parts themselves
Mhm.
aren't that bad. And then that whole like kind of middle eight spoken part that was kind of spawned from a marriage of an idea of Scum Drop and I, which
Mhm.
is why there's like just crazy fucking bass shredding throughout that entire section. But
I mean, Scum Drop, they are like, it's so funny knowing both sides of the totem pole for them because they, them doing the uh all of the bass parts for 10 Months Summer. Shout out like my homies. I love them so much. That's like my husband band.
right,
Nish and I are just like great friends, and like I'm playing fantasy football with Charlie.
hell yeah,
Love them so much. But Scum Drop, I feel like, is this sleeper hit of like talent. Like, not only can they do this incredible melodic stuff, but they do this poet thing, and they also can fucking thrash. Like, they are able to do so much stuff. How did y'all get involved with Scum Drop? Was Scum Drop like involved from the get go, or like I feel like y'all have been kind of hanging out in this circle for so long?
yeah. So the band, so there's kind of two ways that you can look at the band starting. For me, it started summer 2 years ago because that's when
Hmm.
I started just writing what would become this band. It was just like some stuff I was just writing on my own. And then like by the end of the year into 2024, that's when I started rounding up the gang. But the one thing that we didn't have was a bass player basically the whole time. Maud was originally supposed to play bass, but then the vocalist I had penned kind of dipped out. So then she took over vocals, and then we got Scum Drop. It was like beginning of the summer of last year. So we were already practicing for like a month and a half by then. And it was through 10 Month Summer because Mod opened for them at the Bottom Lounge like that March. And then that's when like we officially met everybody. Like I like talked shit with Nish and Charlie on Twitter. So I kind of had a
Hmm.
little bit of that back and forth going. And then like met
Hmm.
Scum Drop kind of in passing. So kind of fast forward through the spring, we start putting out word like, "Hey, we have this band and we don't have a bass player." Of all the things that it took us to find, it was the bass player was the hard one.
Funny. I feel
Right.
like it's usually the drummer is the hard one
Yeah,
to
it's like
find.
it's like drummer, vocalist, guitarist, bass player. And bass player is like really far at the bottom of like hard to find.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
of all the things, we had everything else locked down first. Yeah, so kind of the spring goes in. Me and Maud are starting to throw out like fishing lines to try to get a bass player, and then Sam from Tenmo hit up Maud, kind of like asking like some just basic inquiries, which I think and it was on behalf of Scumdrop because then Scumdrop got a hold of Maud, and then like a week later Scumdrop got a hold of me, and like literally the first practice, it was like, all right, yeah, this is it. It was immediate. Like they came in and they because when I write out the songs, I just write everything in Guitar Pro and I'll just put in like placeholder bass parts. Practice one, Scumdrop had played with things and was like adding like slap parts and shit, and I'm like, okay, that's a thing we can do apparently.
I love the it's got a lot of like uh the history and the lore here has like a lot of like movie trope stuff happening. Like there's a lot of like these things of just it feels like the movie where it's like, oh yeah, we've invited this new person to the practice and they come in and just blow everyone out of the water. Like there's like this these it's really cool to find like these narrative moments, especially when the lore of the band. So it's cool to hear that like Scumdrop just fit, and not only fit was like going even further.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've gotten so lucky with putting together this band because like me, Maud, and Nico, like I go back with the two of them back to like high school. So I've
Hmm.
known me and Nico have been friends for like 12 years. Me and Maud have been friends for like 10. And then
Hmm.
like Scum Drop, it's so hard to believe that like I've only known that motherfucker for like a year and a half. And then our drummer Jay, like I didn't even meet him through music. Like it was Mon probably mentioned it in her interview, but like he played like the Warhammer models with, my now ex roommate David, and like he would come by, and David would be like, yeah, he's like a metal drummer or something, and we would just like talk about bands and like talk about like hardcore, and just like in the way he talked about it, he's very like chill, nonchalant, but in the way that he talks about it,
Yeah.
you can tell he's like kind of been there, done that a little bit. Because like I'd mentioned like counterparts straight from the path, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember we played with them in Europe," and I'm like, "Okay, well I'm dealing with a tier of musician that I'm not used to here," and it
Yeah,
was so funny.
that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's like when we were starting to put the band together, I was like, I kind like David was like, ask Jay, and I'm like, I don't know what he'd be doing with us. Like he's in a real band that headlines shows in fucking Europe. And then he's like, well, keep in mind, Lionheart's based out of California. He's in Chicago. He probably doesn't have anything going on. And he ended up just being like super on board. And not only is he like super on board, but he's an absolute animal on the fucking kit. I mean, you heard the shit. But it
It's
just yeah, but
crazy.
also it's like it's just like a perfect like personality fit, and like he's like super into it, which I'm like always scared about because I'm like he has an experience in this actual band with a tour bus, and then I'm just like, can you bring your drums and it's fucking in your Prius?
That's so funny, but because I think that like the way that I would see that is that there's like this is a person that is in it for the love of the game. Like not only do they participate in the big version of it, but they also probably believe in y'all stuff as well. And it's probably like really towards you going, hey, I have this stuff, and homie's like, yeah, this is still keep not only keeping my attention, but I'm not fucking going anywhere. Like
Right.
there's that's so cool.
Yeah, because I feel like the because if you've ever listened to Lionheart, they're like a pretty like I say this with love. They're like a really like proper stupid beatdown band. I say that with
Sure.
love. We need our beatdown bands. We need some ooga booga chugs. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
We
Like
need
everyone
some
still
of that.
needs
All right.
that.
I still need my knuckle dragger riffs. But it's like it's
Hmm.
very like very straightforward drumming. So it's like I feel like with this, it kind of makes him work a little bit harder. And I feel like there's probably a degree where he likes the challenge. And even still, like it's always really funny because like people do recognize him at shows, but it's always after he's left for the night. And it's like a lot part of it's like, oh my god, is that the drummer from Lionheart? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I didn't know he could do that.
Yeah, the flexing, the ability to flex. I I think that it's that is there are people that chase that. So knowing that homie can do again ooga booga, do the fucking thing, and then having the opportunity to do something as technical as y'all, I feel like is something that is 100% what they're chasing. And they're here because they love fucking hanging out with you guys, doing Warhammer and all that stuff. And actually, even like the Warhammer side of it, there's some weird through line of like metaldom and like nerddom
Oh yeah,
that's like so I don't think is talked about enough. Like I think that and maybe there, if I look back into like modern culture and like popular culture in like movies and stuff, there usually is kind of this through line between like the metalheads and like playing D&D and Warhammer and shit.
yeah. I mean that is true. I mean, I guess the probably the funniest answer is like that shit just sounds like a cool soundtrack to like slaying a dragon.
Yeah, I think it's like forever, and like maybe it's like what's that movie that came out in the 80s, Heavy Metal, where
Oh
like they
yeah,
did as many different versions of like just animation that would have cool metal behind it, which is like sci-fi,
oh
fantasy,
yeah.
all of
Oh
that
man,
shit.
that's a memory I forgot I had, dude. Holy shit.
I'll never forget. There's a sci-fi part of that, and I don't remember which episode it is in that movie, but there was a moment where it takes place in the future, and they open up a fridge, and in the fridge you see Rolling Rock. And like that, me and my friends decided that that was what we were only going to drink because that's just a funny thing to say. Oh, why do you drink Rolling Rock? Oh, have you ever seen heavy metal?
Right.
Because because apparently this is the only beer that exists in the
That's
future.
so good. Yeah, it's like it's and it just kind of just sonically just matches a lot of nerdy things. And I think it
Hmm.
probably does appeal a little bit to like the person who likes nerdy shit and likes metal, because like metal can be extremely fucking nerdy, all right?
Hmm. Yeah, we're talking about math. We're talking about technical ability. It's like, hey, by the way, I can talk about music theory. I can talk about all this stuff. I can also talk about Magic the Gathering,
Right.
and we're tapping. We're going into the whole thing. We're doing stats. Like this is. I feel like metal. I mean, metal just I feel like doesn't describe it well enough. Whatever the larger thing of it is, the aggressiveness, the technicalness, and the through line between that and like people that love doing RPGs and having these soundtrack minded things. There's just something that I want more to be studied. It's just so cool to see that through line exist all the
Right.
time.
Yeah, I mean, and fucking dude, like, and I didn't have fun in high school. I went to school sometimes, and then I'd come home if I wasn't already staying home for the day, and I'd either be fucking playing like Halo and Mass Effect, or I'd be looking up how to sweep pick on YouTube.
It's the 1-2 punch. It is perfect. I don't see it getting any better. And also, if you watch like all of the Warhammer 30,000 stuff and like people doing all these videos on YouTube that are fan made videos, there's usually either like really ridiculous orchestral music
Yeah.
or it's just straight metal music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that, there's either or, and that is it.
And even so, it's like, what is a lot of metal is just like fucking orchestra, but like plugged through like a Marshall stack. Like, I mean, again, like my favorite players are the neoclassical guys, like fucking like the Randy Rhoads, like Jeff Loomis, Alexi Laiho, Sinister Gates. He's maybe more of a jazz guy, but fucking same
Sure.
difference. Whatever. It's like, yeah, it's like they just for whatever reason since the late '70s, early '80s have just kind of gone well together.
Uh, Here, hold on. Parker, come here.
Hey.
Why don't you lay down? Why don't you lay down, big dog? You're a good boy. Oh, here, let me take these guys out, and then that'll be a little simpler. By the way, everything has been recorded very, very nicely,
Perfect.
and nothing's been a problem. Hold on just a
Yeah,
second.
no problem.
Let's go. Come on. Cool. Okay, I'm back. Let's do this. The EP.
Yes, back
Truth.
back to the songs.
Back to the fucking
I
music. I think
love
that
me
we
a good
can talk
tangent.
about it.
Love me a
Yeah,
good tangent.
that's what I want to do all the time. And of course, I mean, I think that we could go knee deep into the fucking all the nerd stuff that's all I want to talk about is just these kind of
Good
relationships.
at it.
But when it comes to the music itself in writing Truth and Reconciliation, first things first, how do you write? Are you just like, yeah, or do you see stuff in your head, or you hear the stuff in your head and you're like, cool, I'm going to write that down. Oh, this works well with these parts. Do you work part to part to part, or are you working like, I'm going to write a full fucking song like from here on
It's
out?
mostly part to part. So how the writing in this band goes is everything's done really kind of on my end. So I'll put in like placeholder drums and like placeholder bass, so that way Jay and Scum Drop can kind of have some leash to mess around. Nico's kind of fucked doing what I tell him until he has like a riff to write, which he has a couple in the pipeline that will probably resurface and then whatever next release we do. But the
Hmm.
easy answer is like everything. I've done a little bit of both because like I everything I write I document down in Guitar Pro, so we have like a little like 8-bit version, and I can send tabs to people.
Cool.
There have been times, this was mostly true for EP1, where I would just like think of shit that sounds cool and then just tab it out, which is a really cool way to write because it eliminates the muscle memory of your hands. It eliminates your bad habits. So like you're writing these songs, but also teaching yourself new licks pretty much. For
Hmm.
EP2 was much more like because it's all I'm like because obviously like I said earlier EP1 is a lot of older ideas, but this one I'm like, all right, let's fucking let's just see what happens. So like all pretty much almost all the riffs were written by just me noodling in my basement and then being like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of cool. Pull out the recorder, record it real quick, and then if I don't already have my laptop on hand to tap it out. And then yeah, it's just like kind of sticking things together, seeing what goes together. There's some parts where it's like I'll write an initial part, and then as I'm dicking around with it, I'll think of something just in my head while I'm sitting on the couch in my fucking underwear. Like so it's a little bit of both. And then there's parts too, like with the other band members where they come in, like, because I'm just like, I'll like button everything together because I think it's important to have like a cohesive voice for everything. But I'm like, give me like even like a riff, I'll make it work. And that's how I wrote Baptized in Snake Oil, because Scum Drop sent me like that droney intro where like that has the sample kind of laid over it. That's a Scum Drop
Mm-hmm.
idea. That's a Scum Drop. That's Scum Drop's writing. I didn't change shit except for adding like rhythm guitar in the background. And then the kind of really weird like timey part, like the that balance between like 6 and 5 before it settles into the verse. That was like a
Mm-hmm.
marriage of like an idea Scum Drop and I had. Whereas like he had this one riff and then I had another one and I just kind of pushed them together. And then like I mentioned earlier with like Stabbing Me Gently, that whole like kind of middle eight section where it changes time a couple times, it started with a Scum Drop idea and then I just elaborated on it. But for Vigilance and Truth and Reconciliation, those were just me in the basement pretty much.
I love that. Now, there's over the course of time, while you've been, not to like zoom out away from this EP again, even because I will do that, and I'm asking, uh, I'm not asking for permission. I'm just asking for
It's
forgiveness.
again,
So,
I love a good tangent. I love getting sidetracked. You are good.
so when it comes to writing in this EP into this new this new EP, has it been? I feel like when it gets into a second release, first releases are usually spawned by like one person, primary songwriter does the whole thing, or at least like is the spearhead, at the tip of the spear
Right.
of piercing through the songwriting stuff. This EP, was it fun to have other people that knew kind of what was what the vibe was going to be, to like start being able to pitch, and it feels to be more of this cohesive writing thing?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because it's like I was like EP1, that was just all me, just in my house, just writing kind of solitarily. Like again, when I finished writing Leech, we hadn't even been all five of us in the same room together yet. So for this one, yeah, I mean, I think there's because like I had like a little bit of help. It came together much quicker than the first one did. Like excluding Stabbing Me Gently, like Snake Oil and the title track, I wrote those like within like 2 weeks. Like those
Mm-hmm.
came together so fast. Truth and Reconciliation title track, that the riffs that I came up with, that just kind of I stumbled upon them by accident and just caught lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But for yeah, like Snake Oil, like that song started with Scum Drop's just little idea, and then that spawned everything else afterwards. And that's very much how the band is going to be going forward. Like this, for this EP, it was still like like 85-90% just me fucking throwing shit at Guitar Pro and seeing what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
But for going forward, it's going to be a lot more collaborative. Like I'm like I still want to be like the one that kind of button things together and maybe like hardcoreify it a little bit, because like Nico's a big death metal guy. Scum Drop
Mm-hmm.
just knows to send me their weirdest shit. So it's like taking all of those things and like being able to kind of put them in a blender together, which it's even just like a little snippet of that on this EP was so much more gratifying than just me beating myself up over my laptop, for hours on end on a night.
I think that there's some solace in knowing that. I mean, or there's two like ways to think about it. One, there's the way that you come out of the writing process of EP1, where it's like I put everything that I could into that. This is so sick. I'm glad that front to back is all this stuff that I've written, and here's tabs, and you did the whole thing. It's like you built the business, you built the whole building ground up. And the second one, was there any moment of like, when you come with working with others, is there a hesitation of like, I want to make sure that, the vibe is that we're going to the same place together. Like we're both trying to aim at the same place. And how is working with other members and making sure that, the vision is true?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, like, as far as, like, the final product, having, like, the person who kind of makes it all make sense together, just because, like, if you hear the ideas that Scum Drop or, like, that Nico give me, like, you're like, how the fuck are these gonna fit? It's like, so, like, it's really cool. It's like, the chaos is almost, like, uniting in a really weird way.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, like, you heard the EP, there's a bunch of fucking weird shit on there, and I think by now they just kind of everyone's just kind of come to accept and like kind of appreciate it a little bit.
Hmm.
Sorry, one sec, my throat's really dry. But sorry, you're about to talk to me. Go on.
Yeah. So when it comes to like those moments of, okay, in the writing process, specifically just in the writing process itself, do you have any rules for, while you're writing and for other people that are writing? Like I remember thinking that, hey, when I'm building my, the demos for like stuff for 95, I'll build the demo, and then cool, everyone can do. My rules is that if you want to do something different, you can. You can do whatever. The final product is what everyone decided that they wanted to do with the like approved demo.
Yeah.
And so, do you have? Does Splitjaw have any rules in regards to like the writing
I
process?
mean, we pretty much function the same way. Like I always, I give everyone like the skeleton and like have all the riffs and like the structure, but like, yeah, and like I said, Nico's kind of stuck because he's just playing the guitar parts that I threw at him. But
Hmm.
yeah, like Scum Drop and Jay have some leash. Jay tends to stick pretty close to just the placeholder drums I put in there, but obviously just way cooler and way better. And then
Hmm.
there's a couple things that he'll like kind of like alter himself to, where it's like paying homage to like kind of what I had in mind, but he's just gone into the stratosphere. And then Scum Drop, oh my god, like the bass, I swear, the placeholder bass for most of the songs is nothing like what ended up being on the final product. I learned from a very early time, just let that motherfucker go loose, because like they they play bass in a way where it's like they weave in and out of like being a proper like rhythm section, hold it down, to where they'll jump in as like a third guitar, or they'll just do something completely fucking different. It's like I've learned to just let them run wild. Like there's a few things where it's like, if I think maybe it's just not quite there, I'll be like, hey, I'm maybe like simplify it a little bit. Or okay, like one example, the first breakdown for Baptized in Snake Oil, where it goes halftime, and I do like the Unholy Confessions ripoff that's not the metalcore riff, and then Scum
Hmm.
Drop comes in with the bass kind of in the second turnaround. It was like originally like we were playing the other, and I was like, I think it kind of sounds a little bit cooler if we just kind of let it hang for the first repetition, and then when it goes back into the just fucking like, and then come in with the bass, like same kind of thing on EP1 with the title track for that. There's that kind of like really
Hmm.
the down riff that comes in during the first verse, or maybe it's a verse. I don't know. That song structure is really weird. But yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like they'll. It mostly happens in those times where like we're kind of like playing off each other. Where like I tend to like start it where it's like, okay, just the guitar comes in, sets the vibe, and then it like builds, so to speak. But the short answer is yes. Scum Drop can kind of basically do whatever they want.
I kind of like that. Is there kind of a moment of, while you were writing the first one and like, I think the differences between both of these EPs is, again, the writing process is different because now everyone's got more stuff that they can say and everyone's feeling comfortable with like where you guys want to land with how everything you want to sound. Is there a relief almost that like, hey, I can put these things in here and that they're going to be removed because the person, there's like this trust involved, so you get to focus on something completely different.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's really nice because it's like now that I know like that everyone is like in it and gets it, like it just I don't have to spend as much time on the shit that I think is gonna end up changing anyway. So like that
Totally,
definitely
exactly.
like makes that part go a little bit quicker. Like when I was doing like the first TP, because at first I was writing them just to listen to on my own as just like my own little like my own little treat. So I would like really like sit there and agonize over like fills and shit like that. And now it's just like, Jay, put the snare here. Scum Drop, I'm not even gonna fucking bother.
I'm gonna bring my dogs in, and then we're gonna talk about the themes of like you and Maud working on the EP, and like the through line between the themes you guys are trying to say vocally and
For
lyrically.
sure.
All right, cool. And recording is still great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
we're
But yeah,
killing it. This is fucking
one
awesome.
last little snippet for
Yeah, keep
that
going.
last question. Kind
Mhm.
of, I guess the overarching answer is that because like we are very hard to pin genre wise,
Mhm.
so that kind of gives us some liberty to really just embrace the chaos and embrace the weird shit, I'd say. And like everyone's been super on board with it. Again, it's like I don't even we barely even know what we are. We have like it's just so many different influences. So it's like there's really like no uncharted territory. Like everything's pretty much fair game. As long as it's heavy
That
and
sounds.
nasty.
That's. I think that that is kind of like the through the something that I've noticed is that um, there are like two things that happen when you get more energy or you get more like uh, empty slots after you get to trust other people with the writing process. Like if it's like, hey, it's going to cost this much of like my slots to do this thing, the fact that I have more, you guys get to explore more versus like, well, I'm not even sure what to do with all this extra time or extra energy in my head for writing. So to hear that you guys have just like said, okay, fuck it. We are just going to literally go where the creativity takes us, and we're all going to land the same place because we all trust each
Yeah,
other.
like there's no real rules except it's just, riffs are king. Everything starts with riffs, everything ends with riffs. That's all it's about.
Riffs are king,
That's
baby.
really
That's
it.
exactly.
That's really
That's
all it is. Whatever happens, happens. As long as there's
I.
riffs that fucking make your face crunch, that's all I care about.
I think that the distilled version of like what this EP is that makes my face makes you go ooga booga face. Like this is exactly how it's supposed to
Oh yeah,
feel.
and yeah, it's like my goal is for that part of why I'm like so happy with everybody. It's like I wanted this to be a band where it's like you can isolate any given instrument and have a good time.
I love that. Now, speaking of like another instrument, let's talk about the relationship between you writing and Maud. Where Maud is. Do you have a story that you're wanting to tell, and then you let Maud tell the story, or is Maud the one that's like coming up and saying, "All right, here's the story that I want to tell"?
It's really mod. I pretty much just kind of let her do whatever she wants lyrically. Because especially because like we've been playing and writing, maybe not so much writing, because a lot of the bands that we played in before, like I wasn't really a songwriter yet, but just by the nature of working together, like we know each other so well, we trust each other so much, where it's like we know we can make anything the other does work pretty much. I would say the only time I've ever like given Maud like a nudge was like the EP1 title track. It was like there was a bit of a writer's block at first vocally, and I was just like, hey, structurally it kind of reminds me of this song. So if you want to kind of just like start there, that's pretty much it. But like vocally, I really do just let Maud go loose, just because again, like there's that trust from working together for so long. And like just when I'm writing as well, I kind of do like subconsciously keep some of the other members in mind, and a lot, of course, that is Maud, where I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this would be kind of like a cool part, like the vocal and the guitar can kind of like link together a little bit, like the sass parts in Vigilance specifically. Like I wrote that, and I'm like, Maud's gonna do some fucking like really funny shit over this. I just know it.
There's something awesome in having that trust. Now, here's a question. After all is said and done, when it comes to you've gotten everything recorded or at least like written down demo wise, and you kind of have the structure of how everything's going to look, and then you being able to like sit down and see what the story is being is told in this record from Maud's perspective, what would you say is kind of the story of Truth to Reconciliation
Yeah, I'd say
as an EP as a whole?
yeah, the way so because like I was like reading the lyrics and I'm like just kind of getting a sense of what it is. It's like for EP1, it kind of seemed like it's kind of ultimately about like the same problem. Fucking, we live in a hellscape. Fuck this country, shit like that.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of
Sure.
like zooming further and further out. It kind of seems. I noticed that both EPs, like it starts as like more of like on it lyrically, like on an institution. Oh yeah, and this I'm not speaking for Maud. This is just what I've noticed about the lyrics
No, and
Because
specifically,
Maud writes the lyrics. This is just what my dumb brain is reading it as.
that's what I wanted to know because it's like you get to see what it looks like at the end, where like your riffs, you wanted to do this, and then you get to kind of see what your head was thinking about versus what they're actually talking about, and now you get to tell your own perspective of like the story of how you see this EP.
Right. Yeah. It's like with both EPs, it kind of seems like very much like like zoom starts out like zooming out where it's like here's this thing, it sucks, and then kind of zooming back in a little bit, so to speak, where it's like okay, like what does this have to do with us as a collective? What does this have to do with like just the people? Like Spine and Stab Me Gently kind of I think rhyme a little bit lyrically, where it's like it's much more like okay, what about us though? And then the last song
Mhm.
of both EPs ends with a much more like personal kind of thing. And it's like I don't know if that was done on purpose for Maud, but that's something that I kind of noticed.
I think that there's something there with structure that when it comes to uh, when it comes to narrative arcs in music, I think that that is a pretty classic way to do it, where you start kind of not broad, but like everything is kind of it's still in 1080p, but then like you can over the course of the record it zooms out into like the bigger thing you wanted to talk about and like the broader versions of them, but then a lot of records like end on a very personal note to kind of like bring your audience back into like their own bodies. So like I think that on accident every time it just ends up being this structure, so like
Yeah.
to see y'all go through that same thing again, like for some reason the gravity into making this structure like that is just something that most bands accidentally do. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, it
works.
literally was pure accident. Because, like, especially because, like, the track listing and how the songs are written is, like, literally mirrored. Like, because, like, Leech and Vigilance were written, the closest together in terms of, like, two releases. So it's like, it seems like that train of thought continued and then went back to, like, zooming out. I didn't, like, really think about it until, like, kind of recently after I started, like, really sitting with all the lyrics and shit. And I'm like, this literally is just like thematically the first EP, but in like reverse order.
That's so interesting. It makes me want to listen to both of them, or at least it makes me want to listen to Truth or Reconciliation backwards and then listen to the first EP forwards.
Right.
Like there's something really fascinating about how you've bookended kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now,
Oh,
you keep
I'm
going.
sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I don't know if that was like purposeful or anything, but it's really, really funny to think about that it was just
Oh
done. It
yeah,
just That's just kind of how it happened.
because it's about like you always see it's just how the cards ended up lying as like they were placed. Like this is nothing, again, it's the gravity of decisions where these aren't, this is not how it was designed to be for both EPs, but to see that happen is interesting in itself.
Yeah, yeah. Seeing how like, especially now that we've been playing together for just a smidge under a year and a half, and like now we have 8 songs together. Like seeing what the band is now has been, just as we get further and further, has been really really fun.
Now that there's like this 8 song and are y'all playing just these 8 songs? Or are y'all playing new stuff as well when you guys play?
Well, now that we have everything released, for the
Hmm.
next little bit, we're finally playing a full set list of released music. for the
Yeah, I
first
was gonna
time.
ask, like, the last, since the beginning of this last year and a half, what was your guys' sets like? Or, if you guys were doing these four songs, are you guys just doing short sets with just like maybe one extra song, or what's it like finally able to, do? Hey, cool, we can do the full fucking half hour now.
Yeah, it was our first couple sets. Well, our first show and our EP release show. We did throw in like a few covers just because we had the time. Like for both of them, we
Sure.
did "Thank You for the Venom," and then well, by my chem, of course. But for if for
Yeah.
some reason people don't know, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, duh.
yeah. Let's say for in case someone somehow doesn't know, like fucking go do your some studying clearly.
Yeah,
But
learn up, baby.
yeah, yeah, it's like we did Thank You for the Venom for those two shows. And for the EP release show, we also threw in a Kill Switch cover. We
Perfect.
what did we do? We did My Curse. That's right. Yeah, we
Okay.
did My Curse. But yeah, but in between then, like we just kind of were happening to play like shorter set times. Like we were usually given like 20 to 25. Like we had a half hour for our first show and then a half hour for our for not the second show, the EP release show. And then the two in between were like 20, 25 minutes. So it just worked perfectly because all I had was the five songs of EP1 and Vigilance. Like we've been playing Vigilance live since day one. And then
Crazy.
when we played our first show of this year, we didn't. We just did the same five songs just because it was a downstairs sub T show that had a hard out. So we were like, we're just gonna play and get the fuck off stage. And then every show since then, we've been pulling out the EP2 stuff.
Now, has it been cool? What's been the reception? Because I feel like people are really fucking with this thing. So, like, has it been really cool? Is there anyone that's like coming up and saying, giving you the praise that you guys deserve, like on the audience level? Does it feel like they're like you're exploring that people are vibing with the new stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like with the first one, obviously, like it's never gonna be like the massive boom just because no one knows who the hell you are yet. But
Sure,
so it's like having just the juice of being a band for a year now has definitely helped. Obviously more people care about this release than when the first one came out. So
sure.
we're seeing a lot more voices, and also like those because of the nature of just more people. Like the word is spreading so much more. Like look, we still have a way fucking ways to go, but like just to see how long we've been a band and what we've been able to pull, it's been like what the fuck? Like who are all these
Uh,
people?
uh, I mean, you guys had, Callous Cowboys shout y'all out. Like, there's, so many moments, as these milestones as being in a band and, doing two EPs, and, starting to get the following that you deserve. And what has been, in your head, what has it been like the last year and a half of like, feeling the parasocial relationship between, your band and its
Yeah,
audience?
it's a lot of fun. I mean, like it's I mean I run like all the socials and shit too. So like if you see like the Twitter, I mean obviously you probably gathered that by the DMs, but yeah, it's like I like to just like shoot the shit with people pretty much. Like I like I've said before, I love a good tangent, I love a good sidetrack, I love a good just fucking banter back and forth, and especially on like a platform like Twitter that's so fucking easy, and especially when like whenever we'd have like oh he tweet usually from me talking about something that I think fucking rules, like we had like a bunch of new followers come from me tweeting about how sick Avenged Sevenfold is, and then
Yeah.
as that week went on, they were like followed for liking Avenged Sevenfold, stayed for the riffs, like shit like that, or like same with like Halo, dude. Like we have a bunch of like we have a handful of like Halo accounts who follow us, and even our fucking header, like shout out Mr. Sam Owens, like he found us and it's like yeah I like metalcore and I like Halo, and then like I think we were on our way to a show or something, and he posted on Twitter that he made like a little render for us, and then I ended up using it as our profile header, and I printed a bunch of fucking stickers of it. It's like
It's pretty
it's been cool.
cool.
Again, I basically just when I running social media, when you're not doing the thing like oh here's an announcement, it's just like shooting the shit with people, and it's a lot of fun, and I feel like that definitely helps kind of create some semblance of a community, because like it's not just like oh here's a band I like, it's like oh here's things that we also just share in common.
Yeah. What has it been like? there are two kind of lives here. There is the life of, hey, I have to do all these music chores, but thankfully I'm with my best friends, so they don't feel like chores.
Right.
And then you have your life of like going to work and all that stuff. Do you, when you look, 5 years down the road, what are like the big hope and dream moments? What are these milestones that you hope to hit?
Oh gosh. I mean, yeah, that's a really good question. It's like I'm trying to get too wrapped up in that just because of like how hard it is to do this.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, it's like so I try not to like I'm very much of just like a it goes where it goes kind of person with this band. Just because again, like there's so much that is out of our control. We play music that you're not gonna hear on fucking on the radio. Like we're again we're pretty small fish. So it's like I'm trying not to look too big, but what happens happens. I mean, honestly, like I'd like to my next goal is a record. I'm like whatever this band does, there will be a record. And then just maybe like branching out, at least like in the Midwest, like the thought of like a big tour scares me. But I'm like, if I
Yeah.
could be just like maybe like a name that people remember from the Midwest, like I'd be happy. Like that just means enough people listen to it that it's like it did something. That's pretty much my goal. Is like
What do
it did something.
What do you mean by it scares you? Is it something about that the band has taken on its own life that is scary? Something that is almost like kind of out of your own control? Or is it more that it's a livelihood thing where it's like, well, if I'm going to do a big tour, it's like this, you have to make that choice between like doing like a regular life or doing the band life forever. Like, is that kind of it?
Pretty much. I mean, a little bit of both. Like, obviously, there's like the logistics of like van that has a propensity of breaking down, and like, okay, I'd have to make sure my shit doesn't get stolen. And then, but it is mostly like, yeah, that it's like, what are like the real life implications of this? Because like we also did, if you remember, at the start of 2020, we had a very good lesson on why you shouldn't rely on music for your living.
Yeah, I would fucking say
Yeah.
so.
So it was like just knowing that, like you could, how quickly it can be taken away as well. It's like it's again, I'm very much on the fence. Like, okay, like how far not only will this go, but how far can I go in a way? It's like yeah, it's just
Yeah.
there's so much scary shit that is unpredictable and out of your control, whether it be your van shits out and you're stuck in fucking Topeka, Kansas, like up Shit's Creek without a canoe. And then there's just like yeah, it's like what if this just fizzles out?
And like I think that it's about I think that you have a good head on your shoulders about that stuff because I think it's really important to at least have those thoughts in mind because sometimes sometimes I'll talk to people and it's like you know they're just going to do it like I bring this up like I brought this up a couple episodes like there's this band Pomfret. I just can assume that they're on the road at any moment.
Yeah.
Like there are bands you could think of like, and these are not like big bands. These are just like modern DIY bands where it's like, okay, cool. I can assume that they're just in a fucking car right now, about to going to this place. This is what they want. This is like the thing that they hope. These are the risks that they know that they are taking. These are the risks that they're comfortable with. And to know that you're like at least thinking about risks and thinking about what because you're coming from a person that's like, hey, I have a full-time job.
Right.
I have, this life that I have. And I think it's a really, really, I think it's a very mature thought to like say, hey, I'm not sure, where I want this to go, but I have to keep myself grounded and still have fun the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the main ethos of this band is just it goes where it goes. Like, we'll never do anything we don't want to do. We'll never do anything we're not ready to do. Most importantly, that's
Totally.
another thing. Is like you see all these horror stories, like on like the Twitter, like the GoFundmes, where it's like we were driving
Yeah.
and
Oh
our
my
van
God.
fucking exploded and all of our guitars got stolen afterwards. It's like it's just like I want to make sure that not only the band is ready for to handle shit like that. I want to make sure I'm fucking ready.
I completely agree. I remember hearing just like, I mean, you hear about these horror stories just all the time. It is just, I feel like the music gods are here to just like, you know, roll a nat one on everyone. Just everyone has to go through it. One or two of like there are people that have gone through multiple times of like vans exploding or losing their stuff. I'll never forget. I think like Saturdays at Your Place or one of those emo bands like had to like, you know, they had to file charges with like, you know, they went to the police station and then
Yeah.
you have to go to police stations, you have to go to pawn shops, you have to like hope that like you find the things that got stolen. And like me personally, there are those are risks that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah,
Like
like
that's
it scares me. It definitely does, especially because like I'm a big like guitar guy. Like when I
Mhm,
don't buy shit willy nilly. When I buy something, it's because I've probably been waiting for it to come up for like 6 months, and it's
mhm.
like it's just I like the thought of losing some of these. Just like it would probably crush me. So it's like I'm very like when we play shows, like Nico and I are very much the same way. Like we always have eyes on our shit, and I'm just like, okay, what if there's an instance where we can't? So it just that stuff is spooky. But it's like I mean, granted, it's like okay, cool. You want to make a living by just having fun with your friends. Cool. We're gonna make everything else about it suck ass.
Yeah, right. Like, and like you better be having like the most fun, because there's, I mean, it tour is such a, it's so fucking daunting. It's daunting beforehand. It's daunting in the beginning, and then you're having like you mourn it at the end. Like there's, it's not like for the weak of heart.
Yeah, very much not so. Like as far as my actual touring experience, it's very limited just because like I've kind of weaved in and out of like being in bands over the years. Like I'm not like Maud
Mhm.
where she's been fucking in, X, Y, and Z bands that have actually toured and did shit. I did do the band Life Looks Good. Me and Maud have been friends
Mhm.
with those guys for like a decade. We played in a band with them back in the day before they started Life Looks Good. But like fall of last year, I helped them for like a 3-day weekend run. And that was like my
Mhm.
first experience on the road. And it was like, this is awesome, but also like, holy shit.
It's so intense. Like as someone that like first started touring like in their mid 30s, like it is
Back
terrifying.
pain.
Like yeah, it is just like I don't want to be in a fucking car for this long. I hate like any drive that's over 5 hours. Just shoot me. Like I would rather fly and like I'd rather pay for it.
Yeah.
Like there's something about but I think that you know there's something to be proud of and at least making music in itself. I think that y'all are having so much fun and y'all have like where you want to be as like a really in like a really good space. I think you are just pushing forward and not trying to land anywhere you don't want to. So that has been really really cool to see and to hear.
Yeah, that's been the main thing. Is like whatever this band does, it's gonna be on our terms. That's been the main thing.
Yeah,
It's like it's gonna be all on our terms. Like even if like we do quote unquote hit it big and get signed, it's like okay, how much? Like okay, cool, you got that, but like okay, cool, man, you still have to go to work the next day. Like how much of this
yeah,
is
one hundred
actually
percent.
going to be your big moment, fucking $1 million check from the record company? That shit doesn't happen anymore. Like it's so hard to make money in this industry, so it's like I'm not. That's why I'm not thinking about the shit that makes money because it's like what money? Like it's
Exactly.
like
Like I
just
think
do
that
it
there's
on our
almost
terms. Like we're gonna be broke either way.
there's like kind of no like the way I've been thinking about it is there's no reason to do anything other than to make and release music. Like as long as you're enjoying doing that, that is kind of the thing you just have to do. Anything else is supplementary. Like, you know, going on tour, I mean even playing shows in some aspects, like playing shows can be just like this thing that you do every once in a while. Some people don't play shows like ever. They just fucking release music. It's just whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with doing, you should do. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we got to a point. Yeah, it's like we're just like okay, like oh, this time of year is kind of a pain in the ass. Let's just kind of take it easier. It's like oh, we had this really busy stretch. Let's take some time off. Like right now for the month of August, like we're just kind of taking some time to just like get back on just like a practice routine, get back to maybe some life things. Just because again, like we just exited a very busy season. Like we recorded the EP second half of May and then had like 4 shows in June two of them with travel, and then we had another out of state show in July, and then another hometown show in July, like towards the end of the month. So it's like we are able to take breaks, which is good. Keep the sanity up a
Hell
little
yeah.
bit.
Well, listen, my dog, I would love to play a song from the record. Your call. Anything you want to say. It's already out, so it's like we're already hearing it. If you want to pick your favorite, you want to pick whatever you want people to hear, we'll play it.
Oh gosh. I say that in keeping with thematically with what Maud did last time, let's do the title track.
Okay, done. All right, so here's Truth and Reconciliation by Splitjaw.
All the objects our lords left behind, there are none so worthless as these oracles. They know nothing of the great journey!
And you know nothing about containment.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. That was Truth and Reconciliation, the title track off of Truth and Reconciliation by Splitjaw. Dean, my dog, it was such a fucking pleasure talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. We finally did it. Finally.
Yes, we made it. We made it all the way to the end.
We finally did it.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to you later. You have a good one, okay?
Yes, sir. I'll take it easy.
Take care.
Hell yeah.